Hi guys, it's Paul from Eemann Tech, and today I'm going to introduce to you our specially made red dot scope mount. Now, we've been wanting to make this for a while. They're hard to get hold of at times, and we've manufactured two versions, a version 1 and a version 2, and I will get into the details of what the differences are. We recently released a video showing you our new tool that we've manufactured out of brass to install these plates and remove them, and it's brilliant how it works. You can't damage the plate and you can't damage the firearm. It really helps to have the tool to install these mounts in the dovetail of your rear sight. Now let's have a look at what's inside this package before we get into how to install your scope. So this is the red dot mount for the Shadow 2, CZ Shadow and Shadow 2. And inside there we have the plate itself, which is made out of aluminum. It's got a number of holes in it. They're the holes that you screw down the scope onto, and there are also locator pins that go into the different holes for the different scopes to stop the scope moving. So it's not just held down by the screws, it's held down by the locator pins as well. I'll show you how that works. Now, a couple of features on this plate. There's a marking on the bottom to tell you what it's for. There's two locking grub screws in there to lock it down into the dovetail of the rear sight. And we've also put cocking serrations on the side of the plate. A lot of people like to rack the firearm from the front. With a scope mounted on it, it's a little bit difficult. Some people rack on the scope, but we decided to add some cocking serrations on the side of the plate, and they extend out wider than the rest of the plate so that you've actually got something to grab onto. It's quite a nice feature. So let's see what else is in the kit while we're here. We have an Allen key or a torque key. We have a number of locator pins for the different scopes. So this is for the EV. These are the screws that hold your scope down onto the mount with spring washers. There's some more locator pins here. And one of the important things is the card that comes with the mount. So this card actually shows you which holes to use, which locator pins for which scopes. And this one mount can actually take all of these scopes on the same mount. So we've got a few of them here. We've got the Romeo 1, we've got the Doctor, we've got the Venom, and we're going to show you how to mount them. Okay, so let's say for example you've got a Venom red dot scope and you want to mount it onto this plate. It is one of the listed scopes here, Vortex Venom. So we're going to see that the code there is V1C. So with the V1C, we use the two lower holes for the locator pins from the front of the plate. So that would be these two holes. And to figure out which locator pins we use, we take the last letter and we match it up to the first letter on the bag. And those are the locator pins we use, C and C. So we've got the right locator pins. And we're going to drop them into the correct holes, which are these ones. And they are machined to very high tolerances, so they fit absolutely perfectly. I've just put that one in the wrong way. They go in backwards and the little stub sticks out like that. So they locate into the hole and they lock the scope into place. And there's the second one. There we go. Now the scope should fit perfectly onto those locator pins and should line up correctly with the holes for the screws that hold it down. So the locator pins are in position, the scope doesn't move, and then we use the screws and the washers provided, the spring washers, to torque down the scope, and that will stay in place, and the locator pins will assist in there being absolutely no movement. Let's take another example. So let's say for example we've got a SIG Romeo 1 sight. We want to mount that on our plate. We look for the SIG Romeo 1 on the card. That's a V1A. Turn it around. V1A are the rear holes of the plate. There we go. And to get the correct locator pins, we look at the last letter on the card and the first letter on the bag, and these are the correct pins, labeled A. So let's remove them. They're very different to the other ones. Let's put them in the correct holes. There we go. Now we can take our scope and locate it correctly in the right position, and as you can see, there is no forward or sideways movement on that scope. All we need to do then is insert our screws with the washers to hold it down onto the plate. Now I would use blue Loctite on those threads, not red, because if you want to get the red off, you have to use heat, and I wouldn't put heat anywhere near the scope. So on those screws I would use blue Loctite to stop them moving. Now we also make these plates for other firearms, for Glocks and all the other popular competition pistols. And we also have a version 2 which has the same parts in it, but the list of scopes that go onto this plate is different. So we cover most of the scopes available. The version 2 is for the Seymour RTS2, the Bentley, Vortex, Razor, Sig Romeo 3. There's a lot of scopes on here. So when you want to order the right mount, have a look at the details on the website through your dealer and make sure you're ordering the correct one, the version A or the version B, version 1, version 2, because they are for different scopes. I hope you've enjoyed that. If you have any questions, please email us at Eemann Tech and we can answer those for you. Thank you for watching, and we hope to see you on the range soon. Cheers.